everybody, welcome to another episode of the Holistic Living Show. Today we are going to be talking about psychic development, and my guest is Erin Kimberly, and she is a psychic medium. I'm really happy to have her here. She's been a vendor of the Holistic Market and Psychic Fair for a number of years, so you may actually have had a reading from her. Yeah, if you're watching live right now, go ahead and type in the comments if you've got any questions about psychic development and what that looks to you, because we'll be talking about that today. As well, Erin is going to be sharing a tip on what you can do today to start developing your psychic muscle. And I'm kind of surprising Erin with that. She doesn't know that we're doing that, so giving her a little bit of a warning right now. I've known Erin for a number of years, and she really is a phenomenal person. She's, I'll have her tell a little bit more about herself when she comes on here, but she's somebody that I believe is truly in tune with her psychic abilities, and she helps others tap into theirs, and she teaches as well. So that's super exciting, and we'll share some more details about that too. So I'm curious if anybody has ever experienced a psychic phenomenal event themselves. Like, share in the comments, let us know, like what have you experienced in the psychic realm? Got my mom here. My mom is in here. Oh yeah, this actually reminds me. I am using StreamYard for making all of this more enjoyable for your viewing. And if you're watching in the Facebook group, I did put a comment in there already. There's a link to follow so that I can see your name and your picture to have it show up. So it would look like this. And here's Donna. Hey, Donna, welcome to the show. Thank you for watching. Donna has had many psychic phenomenal events happen in her life. So yeah, if you've got any you'd like to share with us or would like some help interpreting what you've experienced, please go ahead and share in the comments. Now, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Carly Penfold. And over the last 5 years, I've been running a Holistic Market and Psychic Fair, which was an in-person event in Kelowna, BC in Canada. And I had the honor of putting on over 40 shows over those years and really connecting the community for holistic and for, psychic phenomena. So, of course, we're not meeting anymore right now because of COVID restrictions. So here we are, we're online. This has actually been birthed as a result of that, this holistic living show, so that we can try and keep some connection going for everybody that has feeling maybe a bit isolated. So this is my way of helping out. So I've run the Holistic Market and Psychic Fair for 5 years, and I am a holistic practitioner myself. I draw on my experience of Shiatsu Acupressure, Reiki, doing distant healing and doing chakra balancing, and I love singing bowls with the energetic vibrational healing of the bowls. So I do that as well, and I draw on all of my experience with that to bring to you things that I'm interested in, because I'm curiously holistic and I love exploring new ideas, new phenomena that's out there, new products and services. And of course, my favorite is chatting with people who are actually in the biz and do this for a living. So yeah, if you would like to have, if you have any questions about psychic phenomena, please go ahead and type those in the comments. And if you're watching on the replay, go ahead and type in replay as well. This broadcast is airing in several places. If you could be watching this in the Facebook group, which is the Holistic Living Tribe. If you're not a member yet, please come over and join us in there. It is a great place for resources of info. And of course, this is where the show is as well. I also broadcast this show to the YouTube channel, which is a Holistic Market and Psychic Fair. So you have your choices of where to watch here. I also do upload these episodes to Instagram TV. If you're more of the Instagram kind of person, you like watching it there, you can watch it there. And there's also a podcast, which is easily found through Spotify, as well as like 7 or 8 different podcast avenues to distribute to. I do that through Anchor FM. So okay, well, let's just get started. I'll bring in Erin Kimberly right now. Erin, hello and welcome. Welcome to the show. It's good to see you here again. It's been a while since you've been on.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. So, Erin, maybe we can just start off by refreshing viewers. Maybe they haven't met you or seen you before. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey and how you've come to be a psychic medium?
For sure. So I always considered myself an intuitive person, but I would have these little psychic experiences, like deja vu, I would call it. I didn't really know what to call it, but sometimes I would get these flashes of insight or something. And, I could freak out my family members, answer the phone before caller ID and knew who was on the line. Things like that were happening my entire life. But it wasn't until... honestly, I've been thinking about it more and more, like little things kind of come up. Hindsight's 20/20, as they say. So I think it was around when I was 19 or 20, I got a book from the library called You Are Psychic. And I thought that was an interesting book. And it turns out that it's a really popular book that has a lot of science in the background to it. So that was my first exposure to like actually what intuition is and what psychic ability is. And so it had like, I think it's like an MIT graduate or something that wrote the book. And so that was my first.
That's actually quite unusual that you'd have that much of a science-based first introduction.
Yeah,
to psychic readings.
I didn't really know that until another one of my favorite mediums. She wrote a book called The Light Between Us, Laura Lynn Jackson. And she said that was the first book that she read too. And she's kind of, and so I went back and I looked at the cover and I'm like, oh yeah, it says it right on the cover. I never even noticed that before. So that's when I started kind of doing psychic exercises and like trying to, build up that muscle, as you say. Yeah. And then the medium part came online about what year is it? 2014. So about
2020.
Just over 6 years ago. I started to have really vivid, well, I always had really vivid dreams, but I started to have a series of dreams that seemed more like I was having coffee dates. And like I could remember every detail when I woke up. There was no morphing, as how dreams kind of sometimes morph in the morning or you forget them easily once you're awake. None of that happened. These dreams they felt like visitations. They felt like real experiences, just like you and I are having right now.
Oh, wow.
Sleep. So it turned out to be a spirit guide. And she came in and taught me all about how spirit communicates with us from beyond the veil and from the other side, and how they like to send us signs and symbols and how to interpret those signs and symbols. And it was a really, really unique experience. And I was still kind of thinking, oh, that was a neat dream. Didn't really take it to heart too much. But I had been using some oracle cards and dabbling and giving people readings. And so I thought, well, maybe there's something to this. And so I started just kind of giving some readings on the side. And then one day I heard a voice outside of my head when I was awake. And that was like a whole other level. And it actually came with a really strong warning that someone close to me was going to pass away. And it scared me. It caused a lot of anxiety. I didn't really know what to make of it. I thought I was going crazy. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. It's one thing to like have the little subtle, things in your head when you're looking for your keys or something, and it's like, check in this weird place, and sure enough,
right.
It made me think of that. And then to have this voice outside of your head, I'm like, oh man. And I had a young son, and I was like, man, if I tell anybody about this, they're going to lock me up and throw away the key, and I'll never see my son again. And so I was terrified. I didn't tell anybody about it, and I just wanted to shut it down. And then 2 weeks later, this person actually did pass away, as warning said. And that really started my journey into learning to trust it and learning to work with it, knowing that I could no longer ignore it, that this is a calling. This is something that's, I really need to follow this calling, and I really need to do something with it. And I'm being divinely guided in some way to follow. And so here I am.
Wow. That's really powerful. I've got the goosebumps going. It's like, well, actually that is like one of the signs too, right? When you do get like the chills, or you get like the goosebumps, and it's like, when it happens to me, I find that that's really when something really truthful is being heard. It's like, ooh, pay attention to this.
Yeah. I call them truth bumps or spirit bumps.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of the ways that I know that when I'm doing readings and I've giving messages through from spirit, that's one of the ways that I know for sure that the message is really hitting home and I got it just right. Is I'll get the truth bumps. So yeah.
So Erin, since we're not meeting in person anymore almost every month at the Holistic Market and Psychic Fair, are you offering your readings online then? Are you like, where are you at in terms of coming back into like meeting with people?
Well, I have completely pivoted my business online, as was kind of necessary, but was actually my business plan anyways, because I find it a little bit easier actually to work online. A lot of people think that the connection would be stronger in person, but I actually find it the opposite, because we're working with energy. So I always did in-person readings as well as phone readings, and then so now I'm doing them via Zoom. I can still do phone readings. Once things open up again, I'll be happy to meet in person if that's somebody's preference. And of course, looking forward to the day we can have psychic fairs again. But until then, I'm really embracing Zoom and video chat and doing all my readings online, and it's been working out amazing.
Yeah, I think for those of us who are already doing business online, it's quite familiar to us, but new to a lot of others. And I like it online. I prefer Zoom or where you can see somebody face to face rather than just in the phone call. But that's absolutely good. So you have a tip for our viewers today about maybe I just kind of sprung this on you.
I'm ready.
Like what top tip would you suggest that people can do, like even starting like right now, to help really tune into their intuition and their own psychic abilities?
Yeah. So one of my favorite things to talk about is the psychic senses. And so just like we all have our physical senses. So in kindergarten, we learned there's 5 of them. There's actually 8 that have been identified. And so, and then I actually throw in a few more. And then there's the psychic senses on top of those. So anything that you can do physically, you can also do psychically. So whether that be seeing signs and symbols, seeing a vision, hearing a voice, hearing, a download, hearing a sound, smelling something, tasting something. Like even this morning, actually, I have a funny story. I was getting out of the shower and I thought I smelled something burning. And I'm like, that's weird. Like there's nothing that could be burning. Like we haven't even turned on the furnace yet because it's still, nice days here. Well, then I decided I was going to light a candle. So this is an example of not listening to your intuition. Here I set the candle, started to burn the shelf above it.
What?
And and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could smell it before I even lit the candle. And that should have been my warning. I was thinking, I should light a candle. So it really depends on which way. But I was in a hurry and I was rushing off to do something. And I didn't stop to tune in and go, okay, how does this message make me feel? Does it feel like it's a warning, or does it feel like an urge, like a little push from the universe to do something? I took it as I'm like, oh yeah, lighting a candle would be great. I could do that. So I actually burnt my thumb, And so that was my warning. Yeah. So it started to melt.
Sorry, I'm laughing.
No, I'm laughing too, because that's the point when I realized, oh, that's why I got the message earlier in the morning. That's why it was a warning, but I didn't take the time to stop and tap into that. Right. So a lot of people don't realize that intuition and our psychic receptors are actually, they're super subtle. They can get very intense when you get to the point like you can't ignore it anymore, or you've been ignoring it for so long that spirit really needs to get your attention. So it can actually get quite intense.
That's when you get the brick upside the head instead of a feather floating by.
Exactly. So it does,
or a burnt
you're
thumb.
tuning in. Exactly. You can already get a burnt thumb. So so I always say, like, so one of my best tips to start tapping into that is just to start paying attention to your senses. Right. So we live in such a rushed world, and we're busy. We're go. We don't even necessarily stop to think about, that's why they say stop and smell the roses, right? So when was the last time you actually stopped in your day-to-day life to smell something, to enjoy the smell of it, to bring in the smell of it, to roll it around on your palate and go, what is that smell? And would I recognize it again? And smell is so closely connected to memory. So, what memories does it bring up? What is that bringing up for you? And so then when you're going about your daily life and all of a sudden you smell perfume and you don't wear perfume, oh, maybe that's spirit coming in. Maybe that's my grandma, or maybe that's, someone that wore perfume, and you just get the kind of a whiff of it. But if you stop and pay attention, and then what memories does that provoke? And how does that make you feel? Right. That's the message. So a lot of people think that the psychic senses or being psychic means that you physically see spirit, or that you, just as, obviously as I'm looking at my computer right now, and that it appears that way. And that's not so, not or on the day-to-day.
Little Casper going across.
Yeah. So
okay, there's Casper the ghost.
Hollywood has changed a lot of it for us, for sure. But that's their medium. Their medium is a visual medium. So they have to show us what the characters are thinking and give us an example of what the characters are experiencing. And they have to show it to us. Right. And they have their, tricks and effects and ways of getting their point across to do that. But it's kind of changed the impression and it's created a lot of myths around what being psychic is. Yeah. Because we actually all have the ability. It's actually a part in our brain. The pineal gland is, so this is the science behind it all, which I love. I love mixing mystical, and so I kind of like demystifying the mystical and going to the science more. But we all have intuition. We all have the ability. We all have the psychic receptors, and we all have the ability to tap into it.
Yeah, I do believe that too. And it's just varying degrees as to how much we're in tune with it. So just to recap what your point was for what we can do right now when we, to help to tune into either our intuition or our psychic abilities, is to pause and be present and observe when we get these hits or intuitions or gut instincts, all of that. So that would be just to pause and pay attention. Then and then to start to ask, like, what am I doing right now that this could be related to, that I need to pay attention to as well? Yeah.
So there's a couple pieces to it, actually. So you can go about your daily life intentionally paying attention to your senses, so that you start to kind of build up that presence of mind. So you start to know what is kind of physical and what is energy, what is spirit. So that's a good way of working those muscles. So one of the things I like to say is, like, if you close your eyes and, name 10 things in the room and really hone in on the details. Like, can you do it? Can you recall it in that much detail? Or just stop and listen. Can you hear 5 things in your environment right now?
Oh, there's a challenge.
Yeah.
Oh, and actually you have, I'm going to put the thing up here now, the link. You have a 5-day intuitive challenge.
I do, yeah. So we're going to be working with oracle cards for this challenge. It's taking place in my Facebook group. So each day I'm going to give you a different challenge to use. You can use oracle cards, but you don't have to. Oracle cards are a tool like anything else. Yeah. We all have the ability to tap in, but a lot of people, they like to have that physical thing, that visual kind of symbol of what you're working with, and you can work with that. So let's say you pull a card and it has, you know, a woman holding a flower, but in the background, you know, all the flower bushes are like wilted and dying. It's like, which part was your eye drawn towards? Where on the card did you focus? And how does that relate to the question that you asked and the reading that you're giving? So we're going to walk through a bunch of different exercises on how to do different, how to tap into these different psychic senses in order to get the message from the cards, as well as some different card layouts to get people started. Because a lot of people do still have oracle cards at home. And since we can't be doing our readings at the psychic fair, I thought it would be fun to teach people how to give themselves a daily reading.
That's awesome. And I think and this is free for people?
It is a free.
Okay, yeah, and it's in your Facebook group? Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'll put that back up again here as the, there we go. The bit.ly/5-day intuitive challenge. And this will be in Erin's Facebook group if you're interested in developing some more of your psychic abilities or tuning in or learning just more about it. This would be an awesome challenge for you to do and get you really familiar like with using tools like the cards and the oracle cards. Yeah, I find that too when I do the tarot card readings. Sometimes things will just jump out at me that I haven't even seen in like years. Like it's like, oh, obviously that was meant to be seen for this person. So yeah, it's really tuning in and listening in, and I love that you're doing that and having this challenge for people to participate in. That's awesome. So thank you, Erin. If anyone's got any questions for Erin, we're just going to be closing off soon, so get them typed in real super fast, and we'll try and answer them here today in this show. And Erin, so you have you've had a lot of experience with spirit as well. Maybe you can share with us, like, what's the difference between a psychic and a medium? Because I get this comes up a lot. Like people aren't really sure, like, and even intuition. What's the difference between all of those things? Maybe you can share with our viewers your thoughts on that.
Sure, let's demystify a few things. Okay. So intuition is the ability to receive sensation. So just like our fingers have the sensors in our fingers, we have pain receptors, we have pressure receptors, we have hot and cold receptors. Intuition is our receptor for messages from universe, from divine, from higher self, from whatever it is that you believe in and whatever it is you want to call it. All of that exists outside of our physical world. So when you're using your intuition and you're getting the messages, then we call that the psychic senses. So everybody, I believe, is psychic, but then I also believe everyone has the ability to be a medium as well. And the difference is that a medium is the middle person between the spirit and embodied people, humans on Earth. And so we can pass along the message. So we can hear a specific spirit passing along messages or seeing messages. We use all of our psychic senses in order to pass along those messages that are coming directly from spirit. So I don't know if that was clear enough, but it's kind of like, it's like jacuzzis and hot tubs. All jacuzzis are hot tubs, but not all hot tubs are jacuzzis. So all mediums are psychic. That's how we do our work, but not all psychics take it that extra step to become mediums, but we all are capable of it.
Right. So that mediumship is really more that connection with the actual spirit of people who have crossed over.
Yeah, it's truly bringing through the evidence that life continues on after what we can physically see and touch here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for sharing. And for everybody that is interested in pursuing this a little bit further, I encourage everyone to go visit Erin's Facebook group challenge for a 5-day intuitive challenge and Here's the link to register, bit.ly/5-day intuitive challenge. And when is that taking place again, Erin?
That is starting on Monday. So September 28th. It's coming up.
Well, good thing you're on the show today.
So Monday to Friday, in the group, that link will take you right to the registration page. You'll get emailed all the details right to your inbox, so you don't have to worry about finding, the Facebook group. I'll email that right to you just through that registration page. So I gotcha.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for being on here. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for the tip that we can start doing today. Just stay in the studio here. I'll join you in a sec. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much,
Erin.
Bye.
Yeah, so that wraps up our show today, and thank you for everybody for watching. Now, I did have a slide up here earlier at the beginning of the show. I do have a couple of spots left for a pain relief breakthrough session with myself, where you will receive customized tips from me on holistic healing, whether it be something that you can do with energetically or with self-acupressure. I also cover off any essential oils that may or may not be supportive for what you're going through. I do have a couple spots left this month, and you can book through this bit.ly link, Book with Carly. It is a complimentary session, no obligation, and that is my way of giving back. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll tune in next week, next Tuesday at 11:11. I will be here and I will be welcoming another guest. Actually, next week will be Shauna with Balanced Wellbeing, and she is a local in Kelowna entrepreneur, and we're going to dive into a little bit more details with her on next week's show. So thanks for watching, everybody. Bye for now.